teenagers taking drugs, luxury makeup, violence, sex, trauma, and somehow one of the most profitable cultural products of the streaming era. That's Euphoria, a show so controversial that parents hated it, critics debated it, schools discussed it, and millions of people couldn't stop watching it. But here's the real question. How did a dark HBO drama become a global obsession powerful enough to influence fashion, music, beauty trends, TikTok culture, and even billion-dollar brand deals? Because Euphoria didn't just become a TV series, it became an ecosystem. And HBO knew exactly what it was doing. When Euphoria first premiered on HBO in June 2019, many people thought it would be another edgy teen drama. Instead, it exploded into a cultural phenomenon. The series, created by Sam Levinson, was adapted from an Israeli show of the same name. But HBO transformed it into something much bigger. Not just entertainment, identity. At the center of that identity was Zendaya, whose performance as Rue turned her from a Disney Channel star into one of the most powerful young celebrities in Hollywood. That transformation matters because stars are assets, and Euphoria created multiple assets at once. The cast itself became a machine of influence. Zendaya, Sydney Sweeney, Jacob Elordi, Hunter Schafer. These weren't just actors anymore. They became social media brands, fashion brands, luxury campaign faces, streaming era celebrities. And HBO benefited from every second of attention because attention is currency. And Euphoria mastered attention better than almost any modern TV series. Look at the visuals, the neon lighting, the glitter makeup, the dream-like camera work. Nothing about Euphoria looked normal. That was intentional. The show was designed to be clipped, screenshotted, reposted, memed, and edited on TikTok and Instagram. In other words, Euphoria was engineered for social media amplification. That's the secret most people miss. Traditional TV shows were built for television. Euphoria was built for the internet. Every frame looked like it belonged on a mood board. Every emotional scene looked like an edit waiting to happen. And once TikTok creators started posting Euphoria clips, the show stopped behaving like television. It became algorithm fuel. That changed everything. Because once a show dominates social media, it stops relying only on viewers. It starts generating free marketing from the audience itself. Millions of people began reposting makeup tutorials, emotional edits, soundtrack clips, relationship scenes, fashion recreations. HBO wasn't just selling episodes anymore. It was selling aesthetic identity. And that identity became incredibly profitable. After the success of season 1, Euphoria became one of HBO Max's most streamed series. By season 2 in 2022, episodes were attracting millions of viewers weekly, making it one of HBO's biggest hits since Game of Thrones. That's not accidental. That's strategic audience engineering, but controversy also played a major role, and controversy drives engagement. Critics accuse the show of glamorizing addiction, toxic relationships, reckless behavior, emotional instability. And yet, those criticisms only made the show more viral because outrage creates conversation, and conversation creates visibility. This is where HBO played the game brilliantly. They understood something modern media companies know very well. People don't need to agree with content to promote it. They just need to react to it. And Euphoria triggered reactions constantly. Shock, debate, obsession, curiosity. Every reaction strengthened the brand. But perhaps the smartest move HBO made was understanding Gen Z psychology. Euphoria doesn't portray life realistically. It portrays emotion intensely. That's why younger audiences connected to it. The show amplified loneliness, insecurity, validation, identity confusion, emotional chaos. It turned internal feelings into cinematic experiences. And for millions of young viewers, that felt personal. But there's another layer here: luxury. Look closely at the fashion partnerships surrounding the cast after Euphoria exploded. Suddenly, luxury brands wanted the actors. Beauty companies copied the makeup style. Fashion campaigns used Euphoria-inspired visuals. The show influenced real consumer behavior. That's cultural leverage. And cultural leverage creates money. Even the soundtrack became a business engine. Music from Euphoria spread across streaming platforms and social media, helping artists gain millions of new listeners. The series didn't just create stars, it created secondary economies around itself. Fashion, beauty, music, social media content. That's empire building. But no empire scales without risk. Behind the scenes, Euphoria also faced criticism for production delays, creative conflicts, cast controversies, intense filming conditions. There were reports of tension around production schedules and script direction. Because when expectations become massive, pressure follows. That's the hidden cost of cultural dominance. And yet the show continued growing because HBO understood something most networks still struggle to understand. Modern audiences don't just watch content. They live inside it. They build identities around it. They repost it, dress like it, talk like it, argue about it. That level of emotional immersion is extremely valuable, and that's why Euphoria became more than a TV show. It became a cultural product optimized for the streaming era, a perfectly engineered combination of controversy, beauty, emotional intensity, internet aesthetics, celebrity branding, algorithmic virality. The genius of HBO wasn't simply producing a successful series, it was recognizing that modern entertainment is no longer just about ratings. It's about owning attention, owning conversation, owning culture. And for a moment, Euphoria owned all three. But perhaps the most powerful thing HBO understood about Euphoria was aspiration, not morality. Aspiration. Because despite all the darkness inside the show, the addiction, emotional instability, toxic relationships, and self-destruction, audiences still wanted to look like the characters, dress like them, live like them. That's extremely important. Because once people begin imitating a show in real life, the show stops being entertainment. It becomes influence. Look at what happened online after Euphoria exploded. Searches for Euphoria makeup, Euphoria outfits, Euphoria aesthetic skyrocketed across social media platforms. Beauty influencers began copying the glitter-heavy makeup style. Fashion creators recreated entire wardrobes from the show. TikTok edits generated hundreds of millions of views. And suddenly, HBO wasn't competing with television anymore. It was competing for cultural dominance. This is where the business model becomes fascinating. Traditional TV success used to depend on ratings, advertisements, cable subscriptions. But streaming era success depends on something much bigger: relevance. If people keep talking about your show online, your platform stays culturally important. And culturally important platforms keep subscribers. That's the real business game. Because HBO Max wasn't just selling episodes, it was selling emotional addiction. And Euphoria was perfect for that model. Every episode created memes, debates, reactions, breakdown videos, fan theories, relationship arguments. The audience became unpaid marketers. That's one of the most powerful business systems in modern entertainment. And then there's the cast itself. Euphoria transformed relatively young actors into international celebrity brands almost overnight. Take Sydney Sweeney, for example. Before Euphoria, she was still growing in recognition. After the series exploded, she became a luxury brand ambassador, one of the most discussed young actresses online, a viral internet personality. The same thing happened with multiple cast members. The show didn't just generate viewers, it generated celebrity ecosystems. And celebrity ecosystems generate money far beyond television, fashion deals, magazine covers, brand partnerships, social media sponsorships. Attention multiplies revenue. But this also created another layer of criticism. Many people began questioning whether Euphoria was glamorizing emotional instability for younger audiences. And honestly, that debate helped the show even more. Because controversy fuels algorithms. Every criticism created more conversation. And every conversation pushed more people to watch the series for themselves. That's the paradox of modern media. Sometimes outrage is better marketing than praise. And maybe that's why Euphoria became so powerful. Not because it was universally loved, but because it was impossible to ignore. In the streaming era, attention is everything. And Euphoria mastered attention better than almost any modern series. Because in today's world, the most powerful companies don't just create entertainment, they create obsession. If you enjoy breaking down the business, psychology, and hidden strategy behind modern fame and entertainment, make sure you subscribe to Stardom Decoded. Like this video and turn on the bell notification, because the next story might completely change how you see celebrity culture, streaming power, and the business of attention.